What if the day you turned 60 was the moment everything you thought you knew about life flipped upside down? Picture this. The sun rises over a quiet street, casting golden light through your window, and instead of the familiar hum of a busy morning, there's an eerie stillness. For some, this new chapter ignites a fire. Days filled with energy, laughter, and a sense of purpose they never knew existed. For others, it's a slow unraveling, a creeping fog of confusion, where each dawn feels like a question mark, heavy with doubt and disconnection. The difference between thriving and merely surviving after 60 isn't a roll of the dice. It's a deliberate choice, woven from the threads of preparation, intention, and care. In this journey, we're diving deep into 5 essential pillars you need to embrace after 60, practical, soul-nourishing elements that can transform your later years from a struggle into a triumph. Ignore them, and life might dim into a haze of frustration and regret. Embrace them, and every day becomes a canvas painted with meaning and joy. Stay with me until the end, because the final one, it's the quiet thief that slips away unnoticed. Until one morning you wake up and realize a piece of yourself is gone forever. Number 1, a strong sense of purpose. The alarm clock buzzes, but there's no rush to silence it. For decades, life had a rhythm. Kids to shuttle, deadlines to meet, a paycheck to earn. Then, at 60, the music changes. Retirement rolls in, or the house empties out, and suddenly the days stretch long and undefined. For some, this freedom is exhilarating. For others, it's a void that swallows them whole. Without a strong sense of purpose, the hours blur into a gray monotony. Motivation fades, and even your body begins to protest. Science backs this up. Studies reveal that people with a clear why in their lives live longer, dodge depression more often, and keep chronic illnesses at bay. It's not about filling time, it's about fueling your soul with the belief that you still matter. Take Richard, a silver-haired 65-year-old with sharp eyes and a quick smile. After a 40-year career in finance, he traded his suits for sweatshirts, savoring the lazy mornings and golf afternoons. But a few months in, the novelty wore thin. He'd linger over coffee, staring out the window as the world moved on without him. Restlessness gnawed at his spirit. He missed the buzz of problem solving, the quiet pride of a job well done. Then, one crisp fall day, he stumbled across a flyer for a local business mentorship program. Skeptical but intrigued, he signed up. Soon he was guiding wide-eyed young entrepreneurs through balance sheets and brainstorming sessions. The first time a mentee thanked him with a handshake and a grin, something clicked. Richard's shoulders straightened, his voice grew steady, and his mornings had meaning again. Your purpose doesn't need to echo Richard's. It could be tending a garden bursting with tomatoes, teaching your grandkids to fish, or penning stories of a life well lived. Imagine waking to the scent of fresh soil or the sound of a child's laughter. Knowing today holds something just for you. It's the spark that turns a slow drift into a vibrant dance. Without it, life after 60 risks becoming a waiting room for the end. With it, every sunrise is a chance to grow, to give, to savor the years you've earned. And here's the beauty. No matter how lost you feel, purpose is a seed that can bloom at any age. Number 2, meaningful social connections. Loneliness doesn't announce itself with fanfare. It creeps in like a shadow, stretching longer with each passing day. After 60, the world can shift beneath your feet. Retirement might strip away daily chats with coworkers, friends drift to new towns, or family scatters into their own orbits. Suddenly, the phone stays silent, and the mailbox holds more bills than letters. Some shrug it off, savoring solitude, but too much isolation is a quiet poison. Research paints a grim picture. Chronic loneliness rivals smoking 15 cigarettes a day in its toll on your body, raising blood pressure, weakening immunity, even paving the way for dementia. It's not just your heart that aches, it's your health that crumbles. Consider Margaret, a 72-year-old widow with soft gray curls and a voice that once carried across a bustling household. When her husband passed, she embraced the stillness of her cozy home, knitting by the fireplace, sipping tea in the glow of late afternoon. At first, it felt like freedom, but as weeks turned to months, the silence grew heavy. She'd wander room to room, her footsteps echoing, her laughter fading into memory. Hobbies lost their shine. Even her favorite novels felt like strangers. Then, one spring morning, she spotted a group of walkers in the park. Bright sneakers, easy chatter, and on a whim, she joined them. The first day, she barely spoke, but their smiles were warm. By the third walk, she was trading stories of her grandkids and chuckling over shared quirks. Soon, she had coffee dates penciled into her calendar, and the world felt alive again. You don't need a Rolodex of friends or a dance card full of events. A handful of true connections, weekly calls with a sibling, a neighbor who waves over the fence, a book club that meets under oak trees, can stitch a safety net around your soul. It's about consistency, those small threads of belonging that remind you you're not adrift. If the quiet feels too loud, take a step. Sign up for a class, dust off an old friendship with a text, or linger at the community center's bulletin board. That first hello might feel awkward, but it could be the key that unlocks a lighter, brighter life. After 60, connection isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. If this resonates, drop number 2 in the comments to let me know you're with me. Number 3, physical strength and mobility. Picture yourself at 60 standing at the edge of a park trail. The breeze rustles the leaves, and for a moment you hesitate. Will your knees hold? Can your legs carry you? Wang whispers that weakness is inevitable. Stiffness in the morning, a slower stride, a sigh after climbing stairs. But here's the truth. Losing strength and mobility isn't just time's fault. It's a choice shaped by what you do or don't do. Neglect your body, and the decline sneaks up like a thief. First, it's pausing mid-walk to catch your breath. Then it's leaning on the counter to stand or skipping the garden because bending hurts. Before long, freedom slips away, and independence feels like a memory. Paul, a 68-year-old with a mop of white hair and a once steady gait, learned this the hard way. In his 50s, he jogged trails and hauled firewood without a second thought. Retirement slowed him down. He traded sneakers for slippers, exercise for TV marathons. At first, it was subtle, a creak in his knees, a twinge in his back. Then one rainy afternoon, he tripped on his porch steps. His legs buckled, not from the fall, but from years of stillness. Sprawled on the wet wood, heart pounding, he realized he wasn't just aging. He was losing himself. That scare lit a fire. He started small, short walks around the block, a few squats by the kitchen counter. Weeks later, he climbed those steps without a wince, a quiet victory glowing in his chest. The good news? Your body listens, even at 60 or beyond. A 20-minute stroll through the neighborhood, leaves crunching underfoot, can wake dormant muscles. Light weights or a yoga stretch in the living room can coax joints back to life. Studies cheer this on. Regular movement slashes fall risks, boosts heart health, even sharpens your mind. Muscle isn't just power, it's your shield, stoking metabolism, lifting energy, guarding against illness. Start where you stand. A lap around the yard, a chair rise and sit, a dance to your favorite song. Each step builds a bridge to a stronger, freer you. Ignore this and the world shrinks. Tend to it and every path stays open. Number 4, financial stability and peace of mind. Imagine opening your mailbox to find a bill you didn't expect. A roof repair, a doctor's note with too many zeros. Your stomach tightens, not because the numbers are huge, but because the cushion you thought you had is thinner than you realized. After 60, money isn't just about luxury, it's about breathing room. You've worked decades, socked away savings, dreamed of a retirement with sandy beaches or cozy cabins. But life doesn't pause its demands. Medical costs climb, homes creak with age, emergencies lurk. Without financial stability, stress seeps in, gnawing at your health, your sleep, your joy. Studies link money worries to heart strain, anxiety spikes, even memory fog, and yet too many push it aside until the cracks show. Barbara, a 70-year-old with warm brown eyes and a knack for baking, faced this head-on. She'd retired with a modest nest egg, enough for groceries, utilities, and the occasional treat. A new scarf, a matinee ticket. For years she coasted, her days a gentle rhythm of routine. Then came the 1-2 punch, a leaking roof demanding thousands, followed by a hospital stay that insurance barely touched. Her savings dwindled faster than she'd ever imagined. Every trip to the store became a calculation. Skip the butter, stretch the soup. The worry etched lines deeper into her face, stole the lightness from her laugh. But Barbara fought back. She sat down with a calculator and a cup of tea, mapping her expenses, trimming subscriptions she'd forgotten, even selling her famous lemon bars at the farmer's market. Slowly, the panic eased, replaced by a fragile but growing calm. Financial peace isn't a fat bank account. It's knowing you're covered, that surprises won't unravel you. Start by peering into your numbers. Savings, pensions, bills, the what-ifs like a new hip or a flooded basement. Clarity cuts through fear. Then prune the excess, cable you don't watch, a gym membership gathering dust. Small savings stack up, a buffer for stormy days. If the horizon feels shaky, dip a toe into part-time work, consulting, crafting, tutoring kids in math. Barbara's lemon bars didn't just pad her wallet, they brought smiles, purpose, a story to tell. And don't sleep on planning. Healthcare costs can blindside you, but insurance or a set-aside fund can soften the blow. When money's steady, life feels less like a tightrope and more like a wooden open road. Without it, every step wobbles. With it, you walk tall, free to savor what matters. Number 5, a sense of personal growth and curiosity. What if your 60s weren't the end of the climb, but the start of a new peak? Too many hit this milestone and settle. Routines harden, challenges feel risky, the world narrows to the familiar. At first, it's comfortable. Same coffee, same chair, same news at 6. But then the spark dims. Days repeat like a scratched record, and that restless itch creeps in, the sense that something's missing. Stop growing and you don't just stall, you fade. Science nods along. Curiosity and learning fend off dementia, sharpen focus, keep your brain buzzing. It's not busy work. It's the heartbeat of a life that refuses to shrink. Take Thomas, a 74-year-old with a mop of salt and pepper hair and hands that once wrestled blueprints into bridges. Retirement hit, and his engineering days ended. For a while, he relished the quiet, naps on the porch, crossword puzzles at dusk. But the stillness turned stale. He'd stare at the TV, mind drifting, no puzzles left to solve. Then, on a whim, he signed up for a woodworking class. The first day, he fumbled with the lathe, sawdust clinging to his sweater. But the hum of the tools woke something in him. Soon he was sanding a rocking chair for his granddaughter, carving a birdhouse for a neighbor. He'd linger in his garage workshop, the scent of pine filling the air, a grin tugging at his lips as he mastered dovetails. That class didn't just teach him a skill, it handed him pride, a fresh lens on life, a reason to leap out of bed. Growth doesn't demand grand leaps. Pick up a guitar and strum a shaky chord, crack open a book on Roman history, try a recipe with spices you can't pronounce. Picture Thomas chuckling as he sanded a wonky edge smooth, or imagine yourself puzzling over a Sudoku grid, the thrill of got it lighting your eyes. Curiosity is youth's secret. It keeps you nimble, hopeful, eager. People who chase it laugh more, connect easier, see tomorrow as a gift, not a chore. When did you last try something new? Just because? If the answer's fuzzy, start small. A podcast on stars, a sketch pad and pencil, a walk down a road you've never taken. Stop learning and the world closes in. Keep exploring, and it stays vast, vibrant, yours, no matter the years behind you. Final thoughts. 60 isn't a finish line, it's a starting gun, if you choose it. We've walked through 5 pillars to hold up your later years. A purpose that pulls you forward, connections that anchor you, a body that carries you, money that frees you, and a mind that keeps expanding. Miss one, and life tilts, lonely, stiff, strained, or stale. Build them, and every day hums with possibility. Picture Richard mentoring under fluorescent lights, Margaret laughing over park benches, Paul striding up steps, Barbara counting her lemon bar cash, Thomas sanding wood into art. Now turn the lens on yourself. Where do you stand? Do mornings greet you with a mission? Do voices lift your spirit? Can your legs chase the sunset? Does your wallet breathe easy? Are you still reaching for something new? Don't wait for a crisis to nudge you. Small moves now ripple into big wins. A phone call, a walk, a budget tweak, a library card. Life after 60 isn't a fade out, it's a chance to rewrite the script, richer than ever. So tell me, what struck you today? Drop a comment with one takeaway and how you'll weave it into your days. Your voice fuels this journey, and I'd love to hear it. If this sparks something in you, hit like, subscribe, share. Let's keep the fire going. Thanks for stepping into this with me. The rewrite's complete. Now it's your turn to live it.